just as you come to laying down, Amanda, we'll start laying down. Yeah, great. So you can bring the soles of your feet to the mat in constructive rest position. And just start to deepen your breath here. Or tune into your breath. Notice where it is already. And just as you lay here, just notice if you can soften the jaw, the cheeks. Relax the back of your throat. And just feel very aware of the movement of your breath in and out through your nose. And see if you can imagine your breath almost like a circle. So the inhale and the exhale seamlessly merging into one another. Feeling aware of sounds around you. Might be able to hear the wind moving today. As I said, as it's a new moon day, we'll incorporate a few elements of Chandra Namaskar, as well as coming back to some of those ideas of the Yamas and the Niyamas that we started to think about last week. And particularly today, ahimsa, so that idea of kindness or non-harming. So if you feel a little tireder today, you might not, but if you do, just noticing and just feeling that through this softer practice we can just encourage that little bit of energy, that little bit of impetus through movement, but without feeling that we have to push ourselves really, really hard. So the movement is really to maintain your energy, to move energy around your body well, get you breathing a little bit, but without feeling that you have to push. Not that you ever do, but especially not today. Great. And just opening your eyes if you have them closed already. We'll take a full stretch, reaching the arms overhead. So just starting to link your breath with movement now. Taking a breath in. And then as you breathe out, hug right knee to chest. And giving the joints a little mobilise. So we've done this in our restorative class this week as well. So you can have a slightly more active feeling to it in the morning, perhaps. Or you might feel a little stiffer in the morning, just noticing. And then extending the right leg up to the sky, flexing and extending through the foot, rolling through the toes, and then flaring the toes away from one another. Maybe easing that leg a little more towards you, pulling up on the kneecap, just gently. Breathing in. Breathing out. Once more, breathing in. And breathing out. And then you can almost take hold of your leg and help your leg with this motion. Rotate from the thigh to slightly pigeon toe the foot, but feeling that movement come through the whole leg. And you can take the hand outside the top of your leg above your knee, or outside the foot if you can reach, or outside the calf, and just gently bring the leg across the body. So you'll most likely feel this along the outside of the leg, particularly around the knee where the muscles attach and across the joints. It might feel quite tight. Just breathing there. So it doesn't have to be a very big movement at all here. It's not a twist. And the more that you can squeeze up on your kneecap and straighten away there, the more you'll feel a more intense sensation. And then come back to centre. You can give the knee a little hug. And then as you breathe in, extend arms and legs away. And breathe out, hug the left knee to your chest. And just keep a little bit of engagement of the lower ribs here. I'm terrible for letting mine flare, just especially when I extend arms and legs. Try and just feel that little bit of tone in the centre of the body, rolling the ankle here. feeling the leg up to the ceiling. Again, you can ease into this a little bit, flexing and sending through the foot. The knee might be a little bent to start with, and then you can straighten it more as you use your breath to encourage greater depth of motion. Good. And then again, you can get hold of the top of the leg to help you find that action. Rotate inwardly. Keep the legs strong. Keep your left foot flexed. I don't even know what flexed is. And then just gently pulling that across. And then again, squeezing up on the left kneecap a little more to connect into the depth of the stretch there. Breathing in. And that can be the foot, the outer thigh, the calf, just wherever the body wants to move to. And then come back to the centre, lower that leg down. Again, inhale, try not to flare the ribs, keep a little bit of knitting together with the low ribs, tone the low belly. And then hug both knees to the chest. And have a little rock forwards and back here, just a small squeeze and release of the knees. And let's take those froggy leg circles again. Rolling a few times one way and a few times the other way. Great. And then you can either roll to one side or rock and roll up to sit, and then bring yourself straight to kneeling at the back of your mat. So just crawl back to the back of your mat. So you find yourself in a little hero's pose here. Good. And just bring the hands onto the thighs here, so your hands just resting in your lap. And just focus the gaze softly ahead of you for a moment, breathing in and breathing out. And then we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up, parallel with the shoulders, palms face in. Exhale, fold forwards into an extended child's pose, lay belly over thighs, let the head go. Inhale, just take an extra breath here, really breathe into the back rib cage here. Expanding the muscles there and breathing out. Feeling the belly draw in a little. And then as you inhale, come to all fours. Knees are hip width apart if they weren't already. And then exhale, tuck the toes, come to downward facing dog. And again, we'll just take a couple of extra breaths in downward facing dog. I say extra breaths because as we repeat this a couple more times, we'll just take one breath per movement. Let the head be heavy. You can bend the knees and then re-straighten the legs a couple of times. Maybe the heels come down, maybe they're not quite down. See if you can pull up on the kneecaps, pull up on the low belly. Breath in. Breath out. Good. Inhale, come to all fours, and at the same time, arch the tail up, arch the back, look up into cow, and then exhale, sit back into child's pose. As you breathe in, make your way up from the ground to kneeling this time, and bring your hands to your low back. And then just a little baby camel or ustrasana here. So lift the chest first. Again, keep a little bit of tone here through the centre of the body. Lift up, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the gaze at the last. And then exhale, sit it back down to kneeling. Lovely. So now we'll move through these a little bit more quickly. So these are our Chandra Namaskar, the low moon salutes. So we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up, look up. Exhale, pull forwards, belly lace to thighs, extended child's pose, forehead to mat. Inhale to all fours. Exhale to downward facing dog. And again, we'll take one breath here. Inhale. Exhale. On the inhale, you're going to come to all fours and extend the spine, so arching the back. Exhale, sit back in child's pose. Inhale, come to a high kneeling position, sweep the arms up. Exhale, reach the arms out to the side. Externally rotating, so turning the palms up and bringing the hands to the low back there. Good. Inhale, little baby camel. Lift the chest. Lift the ribcage away from the hips, send the tail down. And then exhale, come back to kneeling. Great. Lovely. We'll do 2 more rounds to come into the flow of it here. So inhaling up. Exhale, reach it forwards. Inhale through all fours. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. And a breath out here. Inhale to all fours and arch your back, looking up. And then exhale to child's pose. Inhale to a high kneeling position, sweep the arms up. Exhale, open the palms out to the side. Again, draw the low ribs in here. Try to keep the movement in the shoulders. And then we come to the back bend here. Inhaling, lifting the heart. And exhaling to sit back to kneeling. Lovely. Last one of these. Inhaling. Exhale, sweep the arms forwards. Inhale through all fours. Extending, lifting the tail. A little bit there. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Draw the tail under a little bit there. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Inhale to all fours, again extending, arching, lift the gaze. And then exhale, sit to child's pose. Inhale, come to high kneeling, sweep the arms up. And then exhaling, rotate. Try to keep the low belly toned, the low ribs in, hands to lay back. Inhale, extend. And exhale, come to kneeling. Lovely, and just taking a breath in. And out. And I'm going to take the knees wide, just press the hands in front of you, tuck the toes and roll yourself through a little half squat. So don't worry about heels coming down or anything like that unless they do comfortably. Just have a little roll side to side through your hips here. And then from here, we'll press the hands into the mat and see if you can send the hips to the sky. So if this is difficult for you, grab a couple of blocks, hopefully you've got them next to you already, just to bring the floor a little higher. You can start to press up. Again, if it feels difficult to press up from here, you can bring your hands to your thighs and use that for support, or we're going to roll up to stand, vertebrae by vertebrae. Let the head come up last. Give the shoulders a roll. Great. And then step to Samastiti here at the top of the mat. And again, just take a moment here. So remember, Samastiti equals standing, front and back, side to side of the body. So you don't have to force anything here, but just notice if you can feel that place where you feel perfectly balanced on the front and back, side to side of the feet. And this is for your body. Everyone is different, so you don't need to force the shoulders back or squeeze them forwards or have any hard edges, but that's just that sense that as you press the feet evenly into the ground, we're able to draw up length. Length through the spine, length through front and back, side to side. Great. And then from here, as we did last week, we're going to step back to warrior one. So you might want to keep your hands on your hips as a little guide. You step your left foot back with the foot turned out at about 45 degrees. And then gently draw that left hip a little bit forwards as you bend deeply into your right knee. And let's just ease in and out of that a couple of times. So you start to feel greater depth, a stretch into that back hip flexor. And just notice if you can really keep your front foot active. So you might pick the toes up, plant them back down and feel the inner arches of the feet working. Good, come to stillness here. Lift the inner arch of the back foot, so you're really on the blade edge of the foot, and pull up on that back kneecap. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up, look up, press the palms, and then interlace your fingers and release the index fingers up. So that Kali Mudra. So remember again that strength here, and Satya, so true strength. Reaching up, breathing in. Breathing out. Releasing the arms all the way down. Or step it back to a low lunge. So again, you can use blocks to help you lower the back knee down if you need to. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up into crescent lunge. Press the palms, look up. And then as you exhale, bring the hands behind your head. So you've got that little prayer coming in at the back of the neck. And then hug the upper arms up, lift up here, open-hearted here, breathing in, breathing out. Extend the arms back up, look up, and then exhale, bring the hands through heart center. Press onto your front thigh, and then draw the tail under. So you'll come into less of a lunge, and you'll feel a little bit more quad stretch on that back leg. Great, and then bringing the hands down. If you want to step back and take chaturanga up dog, you can, or you can just step to downward facing dog, your choice. Breathing in, breathing out. And then we're going to inhale, walk the feet to the hands. Keep the feet hip distance, exhale, fold. So take a halfway lift here. Again, you can bend the knees as much as you need. Press the hands into the shins and find a long flat back. If the hands can be comfortably down, of course, take that. And then fold the belly over the legs. Bending the knees as much as you need. Press hands and feet into the earth. And then softening the knees. Inhale, roll all the way up. Sweep the arms out to the side. Try not to flare the ribs too much. Then look up. Exhale, Samastiti. And then we'll take the other side. So you can keep hands on the hips. Step the right foot back, 45 degrees. Just draw the right hip forwards a little. And then lunge in and out of that front leg. So we start to deepen the stretch into the back hip flexor. Great, just warming up around the joints. And then pressing more firmly into that front foot as you deepen the lunge. Squeezing up on the back kneecaps, so that back leg is super straight. Lifting the back arch. And then inhale, sweep the arms up. Press the palms, look up. Exhale, bring the hands behind the nape of the neck. Again, reaching up. Oh, sorry, I've done it in the wrong order. Let's extend the palms back up, interlace the fingers. I obviously need to stretch the backs of my arms today. And take the Kali Mudra. So there's that fierce truth, Satya. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. And then we'll open the arms all the way out to the side, come down into our low lunge. So take your time to come down to that lunge. And Jayanasana, crescent lunge. And then we'll sweep the arms up. So lengthening through the sides of the body first, and then finding that little prayer position behind the nape of the neck. Again, reach up. So you can encourage a bit of back bend here. It's actually hard to see with this loose top, but you can feel that sense of the ribs drawing up and away from the pelvis again, but keeping that little bit of tone so we don't just pop the ribs out and hinge at the lumbar spine. Good. And then bring the hands all the way down to your thigh. Press back and away, draw the right hip under. Breathe here, it's going to feel quite tight in the back hip flexor. So really think about drawing the tail between the legs and hugging the inner line of the legs together. Breathing in. Breathing out, great. And again, if you wish, you can flow. You can come to child's pose or just a dog. If you want to take a step back to plank and chaturanga, you can. Inhale, opening up. Could be knees, chest, chin and cobra as well. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Good, look forwards, walk your feet to your hands, hip distance again. Take your time to get there and exhale to fold into two. Again, bending the knees to roll up. You can press hands to thighs for support as you roll up if you need. And then just give the shoulders a little roll. Come to Samastiti. Good, breathing in. Breathing out. Good, we'll step out along the long edge of your mat. So you're going to have your right leg in front. If you want to be able to see, to remind yourself of what you're doing, then just step to the front of your mat with the right foot. Entirely up to you. If you know where you're going, step to the back. Right toes turn out, left toes turn in. Trikonasana. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees a little bit. Really reach long. Again, if you want your block, you're going to put it behind the leg. You can press gently on the shin or the ankle if that feels good. If it's in your practice to take the big toe, then go ahead and take the big toe. Again, draw the shoulders down the back. Lengthen from tail to crown. So feel that you pull the side, no, I wouldn't say pull really, reach. But again, without hard edges. Lovely. And then looking down for balance, bend the knees, inhale coming up, exhale there, rotating the back foot in, and then coming to the left. So inhale, reach up and out, and exhale, reaching, 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 opening up. So this idea that we had last week of tapas, there's a little bit of discipline in these static holds, in staying with it, in accepting that feeling of effort, and just noticing is one side different to the other. Studying it anew each time you come back to it, lengthening out of the sides of the waist at the same time drawing the belly in. Great. And then looking down for balance, bend the knees. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale there, bring hands to waist. And turn the toes out. And we'll just sit into goddess pose. So you can move in and out of this a few times yourself, quite freely. So again, there's a sense of oiling out the hips, but also finding strength from the ground. So one thing about these moon flows, very earth-based. So anytime you can press into the feet and lengthen the tail down, reconnecting with that sense of earth and ground. Also, it's new moon in Gemini, air sign, and it is windy today. So this feeling of coming back down to earth, settling the thoughts one by one, settling the focus. Again, that draws in with Svadhyaya and tapas, the self-study, the discipline, the focus. Great. This time we'll come down and hold, sweep the arms out to the side, reach up. Exhale, bring hands to heart center as you straighten up. Do that once more, inhaling, so really rotating through the shoulders, stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good, last one of those, inhaling, press the ground away, keep pressing the knees back as you sit low. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then from here, just toe heel the feet together and step back to the top of the mat. Taking a breath in, breath out. One more like that, breathing in, breathing out, finding that center line. And we're going to move down to the ground again through a flow. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, take a forward fold. Inhale, extend the spine. Hands can come to shins, knees, thighs, or stay on the ground. Straighten the legs, straighten the back. Or extend the back, I should say. Exhale, fold. Step back with your left knee and lower it down. So revisiting that lunging crescent. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to take a twist here. Remember, options always with the twist is to just bring one hand to low back, one hand to your knee and stay more outer knee and stay more upright. We're going to wrap that shoulder outside the knee, press the hands together. Yeah. And then you use the top hand to really rotate the chest open. Breathing in here, breathing out. If you wish, you can come to a high lunge, but remember, being honest, satya, truth, being kind, ahimsa, noticing where the body wants to go today. And don't worry if you wobble, that's fine, just come back to it. Lovely. And then unwinding. We'll just step back to downward facing dog or child's pose, either is fine. You can either come to kneeling in child's pose or to downward facing dog. And wherever you are, we're going to come back through all fours and then sit back to child's pose again. So knitting in that moon sequence here, Chandra Namaskar. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, open the arms out to the side. Again, draw the tail under. Lift the heart, opening up. Exhale, sit back to kneeling. And then from here again, we'll come back through downward facing dog as a transition to the top of the mat. Inhale, look forwards. Exhale, walk the feet to the hands and fold. And then step your right leg back and lower the knee, coming back through crescent lunge. Good. So one thing again about coming into the twist, if your knee and ankle are too tight ropey here, you're going to wobble when you come up. So make sure that your feet are still on a train track there, parallel with the hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart centre. Remember, you can take a higher level twist here, or wrap the shoulder outside. So as you wrap the shoulder, don't let this right glute switch off. That will make you wobble. You need to press the left knee away into the right shoulder. So keep pressing away here, squeeze the right glute, and then you'll find that when you come into your lunge, you'll feel more stable. So everything's working here, almost in opposing directions. Lovely. One more breath. Exhale. So this is a saucha. When we twist, there's this idea that we cleanse and purify through our digestive system. You know, I mean, it certainly can make the stomach rumble, so there's got to be something in it, right? And then we'll step the right leg back, downward facing dog. And then we'll inhale through all fours. Exhale to child's pose. Again, inhaling, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, bring the palms out to the side. Hands to lay back, little camel, inhale. And exhale, sit back to kneeling. Good, again, just take one breath here. Remember Brahmacharya, conserving energy. So we take a little rest, wise use of energy. Great. And then we're going to spin the legs out to the side and straight out in front of you, Dandasana. We'll work a little bit more into the hips on the ground today. So bring your right leg up. Again, as we've been doing a lot over the last couple of months, finding active range of motion. So your core's supporting you here as you rotate the hip and the joint. Try not to do it with your foot or your knee. Really keep the motion in the hip. And then bring that foot in towards the extended left leg. Flex strongly on that left leg. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lead from the heart here to soften forwards. Walk the hands forwards. So it's tempting sometimes to go and grab the leg straight away, and we just create more tension here and lose the even stretch through the back body. So see if you can tip the tail back, lift the rib cage up and over, and then we get more of an even stretch through the sole of the foot, the back of the leg, all the way over the back chain of the body, and then let the head go. And then inhale, roll the spine up. Exhale, wave it forwards. Great. Last one like that. Inhale. Keep this left leg really active. Imagine pressing the heel down into the ground as you suck the thigh back into the hip. And then inhale, come up. Exhale there. Good. Bring your right hand behind you. Left hand outside your right knee. Lengthen up, breathe in. Breathe out, find a twist. So really using the muscles around the obliques really, and opening the intercostals here as you sit nice and tall and keep the pelvis grounded. Breathe into the rib cage. Breathe out, feel the pelvic floor draw in and up a little more. And then turn towards your left, rotating around. Exhale there. And if you can reach for the outer edge of the left foot and bring the back arm around to catch your hip. If that feels too much, we're coming to the side of the knee or the thigh, and again, just keeping the back hand grounded. You can actually, in this upright position as well, see if you can internally rotate the left arm, wrap it back, and catch behind the hip, yeah. And then you might find you can reach a little further forwards. And let the gaze follow just softly here. So you're lengthening through the crown of the head and allowing the gaze to follow your twist. Good. Inhale, coming up. Exhale there. Just take a gentle counter twist. And then come back through the centre. Extend the legs straight forwards. Bend your knees if you need. We're going to just take a little forward fold through the centre to counter. So again, hands can pad forwards. Exhale there. Again, roll the spine up a little. Breathe in. Breathe out. Draw the body forwards using the strength of your core muscles. Inhale. Keep the collarbones broad as you exhale. Good. Inhale coming up. And exhale back to Dandasana. And then we'll do the other side. So bring your left leg up. Again, see if you can do a little nun hands. And rotate here. I just feel terribly prim doing this. Don't know what to do with my hands. And then bring the left foot in towards the right thigh. Pull up on that extended leg so it's really active, and then we wave the spine from that firm grounding. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more like that. Inhaling. Keep the collarbones broad. Good. Exhale. Inhale coming up. Exhale there. And then we'll come to the twist. So left hand behind you, right hand outside that knee. Keep that firm grounding of the hips and just rotate the ribs, extending through the crown of the head. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Good. One more breath there. Inhale. Keep the left knee reaching down to the ground, so keep opening from the left hip. Good. Everyone's knees dropped about 3 inches then. And then come back through the centre. Take a little rotation to your right. And then we'll deepen that. So you can take an internal rotation of that right arm, wrap it back behind you, and then maybe reach for the outer calf or the foot. Inhale again to re-lengthen, exhale to find the twist. So these revolved Janu Shirshasanas, I think, are a really nice way to stretch out muscles in your back, between your ribs. Just watch if the chin wants to dip there or if there's tension in the shoulder. Just keep a little sense of softening the left shoulder down and reaching through the sides of the neck. Good. And then come back through the centre. Gentle unwinding the other way. And then come back through the centre. Good. This time we'll hug the knees back into the chest. If you can roll straight forwards, do. If not, spin your legs to the side. Come back through all fours. So breathe in through cow there. Arching. Exhale to child's pose. A little bit of flexion. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, open the arms out to the side. Try not to overly flare the ribs, hands to the low back. Inhale, reach heart up. Exhale, open to Kustrasana, stay a little deeper there. Inhale to come up. And exhale to sit back. Great. And then we'll spin the legs forwards once more. And we'll bring the left ankle over the right knee in a figure 4 shape. Yeah. So when we come to the upright version, Irene, I'm thinking of you, maybe Amanda as well, this would be helpful for you to go against the wall. Not just yet, but in a moment, I'll tell you when. I'm just going to show you now so that you remember. The foot is on the wall and this leg is at 90, and then the figure 4 is here. So you can really actively press away and keep the pelvis nice and level, and then play with bringing that leg in and back to get the stretch into your outer hip. Okay, so that's one option if the upright variation just doesn't work for your knees and your hips, it's fine. So we'll bring the right ankle over the left knee, flex your right foot, so make sure that you do keep a 90-degree flex there. Start to roll that hip away a little more, breathe there. And then lean the chest forwards. So this can feel a bit uncomfortable on that extended leg. The pressure can be a little bit unpleasant. You just kind of get used to it. And then inhale, coming up. See if you can bring your left foot in. Keep the right foot flexed, lift the chest. So again, you can use a wall as a bit of a measure. You can shuffle your bottom back against a wall or a sofa. But try not to collapse. Keep a little bit of core strength working there. If that feels good, you can wrap the foot inside your elbow crease and the same around the knee. Clasp the hands and then maybe take your left leg away, cradling there. It's like an upright pigeon. Good. And the wall can really help here to keep the right hip grounded if you're doing the reclined version or the seated version. Good. Hold that for one more breath. If you're upright, see if you can lift the chest a little more upright and keep the shin coming in towards the chest. Good. And then release. Send that one away. And we'll take the other side. So it's worth spending a little bit of time preparing here. Noticing where your active range of motion is as well. So how can you roll that left knee down from the thigh? And one side can feel quite different to the other. That's it. Just let that settle. Now sit up nice and straight and then reach the chest forwards. So again, like we did with the other forward folds, you can kind of wave the spine up and down. Use your breath to find increased depth. Yeah. That's good. Good. Keep that extended leg a little bit active. And if you're against the wall, keep checking in with the hips. Keep pressing that left knee away. Come to upright if you're seated and we'll hug in. Good. Use that little bit of support for a moment. Find the strength in the core, then wrapping the arms around and then maybe extending the left leg away. Keep drawing the shoulders down the back. So when I say use your core, it's not just the tummy muscles, we're also using those muscles down your back, which are much harder, especially for women, I think, to activate. It's pretty tricky. I shouldn't really say that, that's probably not true. I find them hard to activate, it might not be that for all women. Generally, we're not so strong in our shoulders and back. Good. And then release. Good. And then just give the knees a little shake. Okay, good. So we'll come on to our bellies now. So just, again, we won't do a fancy transition, we'll just slide it forwards through Sphinx pose. And come down onto your tummy. Keep the feet hip distance apart here, and elbows under hips. So again, just working into the back chain of the body a little bit here. See if you can draw the tail under as you exhale, drawing it up through the pelvic floor muscles and the low belly, and you'll feel the low back lengthen there. Keep that, and then we're going to lift the right leg up and lower it down. And then the left. Now as you do this, notice if your pelvis wants to rock side to side or if you want to lose anything in the shoulders. So keep everything really strong and really think about reaching the foot away. And the action is really coming from deep within the glutes. Pulling it up on the kneecap on each leg as you reach it up. And then we'll just take one more each side. And then lower it all the way to the mat. Bring your hands back alongside your hips, keeping the forehead on the mat. Start to squeeze the shoulder blades together, back and down. And as you do that, feel how it wants to lift the chest a little bit already. So draw the shoulders back and down. Keep the fingertips lightly resting on the floor. Lift your chest. Then lift your head, broaden the collarbones, and then lift your legs, reaching everything long. You can bring the feet together if it feels okay in your low back. And then really feel how you're using the strength of your tummy. You're really activating the muscles all the way along your spine, between the shoulders, and then lower down to the mat. Good, well done. Turn one ear to the mat, and just have a little wiggle out side to side there. And then just turn your head the other way for a moment. And then we'll take that again. So bring the forehead to the mat, really squeeze your shoulder blades together so that the upper arms start to draw back. The shoulder blades draw together, retract and pull them down, and use that to start to initiate the lift of the front of the body. And then the legs are going to lift again from deep in the hips like we did last time. Reaching forward, so Shalabhasana, locust pose. Lovely, really working hard here. Breathing in and breathing out, soften down, well done. And take that balance of rest, conserving your energy wisely, Brahmacharya. And if you want to, you can just windshield the legs here, so it can feel quite nice just to release off. And then again, coming back to stillness. So, the next posture might not work for all of you, but don't feel despondent about that. There's two options. You can take a quad stretch here, And as you do, you'll bring the heel to the bottom and really draw the tail under. And you'll do that on each leg. If that feels pretty good, you can prop yourself up in Sphinx pose with the arm parallel across the top of the mat and do the same shape. Otherwise, we're going to come to Dhanurasana bow. So a very energizing pose, but because we've got the belly on the ground, it's not quite as yang as wheel pose, the other full back bend that we do upward facing. So again, it's got that lunar quality to it, even though it's really hard work. So just shift your focus to it there, try and find a sense of ease and calm within it. So we're going to squeeze the heels to the bottom, both at once. Take around the outside edges of the feet. Bring your forehead to your mat and start to squeeze the shoulders back and down. And then start to kick the feet into the hands to lift the heart and the chest. So you can keep the feet apart. If it feels good to bring the knees and the toes together, do. But for most of us, feet apart is good when we're newer to yoga as well. And then we're going to release it down. And turn the head to one side. Again, shimmy out the legs if you need to. So if you're doing the quad stretch and Sphinx, you're getting the same effect. You're getting a back bend and that opening of the quads, which can be a more useful option for some of you. Good. We're going to repeat. So taking the feet, I'm just going to keep an eye that you're all okay. Lovely. And then again, start to retract the shoulders, great. And lift up on an inhale. Just watch the back of the neck, so try not to hinge just from that atlas joint there. Really keep the reach even through the whole front line of the body. Good, lovely. Feel that back muscles working hard, the belly muscles working hard. And release, well done. Great. And turn your head to the other side. And just let your breath settle there. Breathing in, breathing out. So again, there's that little bit of cleansing in these back bends, saucha. So there's an idea that in these back bends, they come in the Nadi Shodhana series of Ashtanga Yoga, which is the nerve cleansing. So basically working on those spinal extensions, we're really getting spinal fluid going, we're keeping our spine supple and keeping good movement there, removing blockages, impurities. And then press the hands under the shoulders and sit back through child's pose. And you can extend the arms overhead and take the knees wide and just give your low back lots of space, soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. And again, you can just rock the head a little bit side to side, massage up the head. If the head doesn't reach the ground, take a block and pop it under your head so that you feel comfortable there, or that you feel a little bit grounded there. Good. And then from here, we're going to make our way gradually up to sitting. Extend the legs straight forwards. And come to Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of the feet together. You can open the feet a little bit like a book. Inhale here, and then exhale, reach the chest forwards. So think about reaching the chest, and your Baddha Konasana might look like this, and that's fine, wherever you are. Again, if you've got blocks or cushions, you can prop them under your thighs there so that you can press down. So keep it a little bit active. Reaching the chest forwards, and then let your gaze come down. So you're really focusing your awareness there. And letting the gaze be soft ahead of you. Oh, you're back, Hilary. And then inhale, lengthen up. And then exhale, really round your back. So allow the head to come towards the feet. Again, if you prefer, you can grab your block or a cushion, take the diamond a bit wider and spread. Actually, let's all do this. Don't know why I'm giving you that option. It's a really nice posture, let's all do it. So make a wider diamond with your feet. Slide your hands under just as much as they will. And then, again, if it feels a little bit frustrating, just softening there. And then if it feels pretty comfortable, take the hands around the feet and you can nestle the head in the feet. Again, blocks, cushions, really good here to prop on the head. And if you're really far away, don't worry, just do the shape that comes today. Lovely. Just take 2 more deep breaths there. Soften the jaw. Take a little bit of a gentle scoop up with the low belly to help that spinal flexion feel supported. Nearly there. Breathing deeply. Well done. And then slowly unwinding. And coming up to centre. Okay. Just give the knees a little hug, squeeze into a little ball. And then extend the knees straight forwards. Legs straight forwards. So we're going to come into pigeon from here before we come to laying down. So I know for some of you pigeon is not a friend and not helpful in any way. So you can come to the wall and do that pigeon figure 4 again, or you could try now the reclined figure 4, hugging in here. The other one that's a really helpful variation, so I'm just thinking of a couple of you here, Irene and Amanda, is to cross your legs here and see if you can hug the knees into the chest here. Eventually this becomes like a Gomukhasana shape, pulling the feet here, and you'll get an outer hip stretch there. Okay, I'll talk you through it, don't worry. So perhaps just take a reclined figure 4 to start with. For everyone else, this isn't a very dignified way to get into it, but we're just going to spin your, I'm not going to mirror you either because I'm going to get confused. Spin your left leg back and bring your right leg in so that you've got, and in fact bring your leg quite tight to start with, so it's quite an acute bend on that front leg. Lean forwards and then start to roll that back leg away. It just means we don't have to do a big vinyasa into it. I mean, you can if you want, but it's quite nice to take a gentler entry to it sometimes. And then really press away on the ball of that back foot. So you're really lifting the hips up and seeing if you can find that level place with your hips. So you can, even here, if you need, shove some props under you, shove some cushions, blocks. And then if you feel like you can sink down, go ahead. But we want to avoid collapsing onto that hip. So we want the left hip to draw forwards. I'm trying to do it from both directions so you can see, to meet that front foot. If it feels really easy there, you can start to adjust that shin towards parallel. And then we'll stay upright for a minute, really energise your legs. So really keep that sense of squeezing the inner legs together, drawing the tail under and lifting up. This will feel harder. If you really want to challenge yourself, you can bring your hands to your waist. One more breath there, and then we'll fold forwards. So pad the hands forwards, take your time, and then you can let the head rest. Good. So I'm just going to keep a little eye on you. So it's really important here as well to keep that right foot a little bit flexed, like we did with the seated prep for it, so that the action is really coming from your hip. There's no pressure in the knee. Lovely. And then just notice, feel if you can extend the sides of the waist evenly forwards there. So we're not rolling to one side. Good. Lovely. And Irene, you can do your anaesthetic thing, rolling the knees around, if that feels better. Yeah. Good. So to come out of this, on an exhale, engage pelvic floor and low belly. Start to pad the hands back, use your core muscles, and then we'll step back to down dog just to pedal out through the legs. Yeah. So just release out through the legs a little bit, and then come back to kneeling. Sit back in kneeling, and then we'll do the same thing on this side. So kind of almost as if you were going to come into a 90-90 or deer pose. Flex the front foot, lean forwards, spin the leg around, press into the ball of the back foot, and then really draw the right hip forwards towards that right ankle. Lift up. Again, you can always pop a block under your left hip there to keep the pelvis even. Keep this foot flexed. Lift up and out a bit, breathing in. And then when you're ready, you can come forwards. So it's a little bit active to start with, and as you come forwards, it's a softening, but we're still keeping that sense of even connection through the inner legs, the low belly. Yeah, good, Irene. Any of those mobilising things are great to do. And when we fold forwards here, we have this little bit of sensory withdrawal, more contemplative Svadhyaya element of the Niyamas. And we just really notice what comes up, especially hip openers can be very intense. We just want to get away, we want to avoid. So just noticing, using your breath there. And then very slowly again on your exhale, engage the core, press into the hands, pad the hands back, and step back to downward facing dog. Well done. Great. And then again, we'll come through to kneeling, to child's pose. And then we'll spin the legs, take a moment in child's pose, and then when you come to seated, again, we'll just spin the legs straight forwards to come to Dandasana. Good. And then from here we'll roll down to the mat. So nice and slow, rolling all the way down. And then bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Great. So from here we're going to roll into bridge pose. So bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Make sure that you can just about touch the ankles with your fingertips. And then as you breathe out, roll the hips up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Good. We'll hold at the top, so wriggle the shoulder blades together and down. Roll the upper arms underneath you, interlace the fingers. So as you draw the shoulder blades together and down, you can press the upper arms into the mat. Lift the chin a little bit away from the chest. Soften the jaw. And just breathing here. Again, really press into the feet. Notice how that makes space maybe in your lower back. Or a feeling of release in the low back. And that the quads are firing a little bit more. So the legs are working really hard to ground us here. And then we release the arms. Take a breath in. Breathe out. Ripple each vertebrae down to the mat. And then give your knees a hug to your chest. And take happy baby here. So flex the feet straight up to the ceiling with the knees really wide. You can either hold behind the thighs here or take the outer edges of the feet. And as you do this again, draw the shoulders away from the ears. Use the strength of the muscles under the armpits here and down the back to pull the hips into more opening, pulling the knees down, but avoiding strain in the neck, the jaw. So you can even give the head a little wriggle side to side, soften the jaw there, and try to keep, again, that core strength enabling the hip opening. Great. And see if you can have a sense of lengthening the tail a bit towards the ground. And then release that and just allow the knees to be hugged in a little more. So just playing with the edges of the stretch there. Good. And then bring the soles of the feet back to the mat, hip distance apart, and just settle there. So we'll come to, we've just got a couple of minutes, so you can bring the legs up against the wall for a minute in Viparita Karani. If you would like to just come to Shavasana now, however, that's fine. So you can choose either roll really tight in against the wall, spin the legs up, and we'll just have a minute here. Again, you can prop a block or a bolster under your hips to give you a little bit more inversion there if you wish. Or just drop straight to Shavasana, your choice. And then wherever you are, just really allow the body to surrender into softness. So the ground holding you in place, the wall holding your legs in place. And as you just allow your awareness to settle completely on that feeling of where the body's in contact with the ground, your breath. Just come into that quiet observation, which sometimes can be seen as Ishvara Pranidhana, that surrendering to just what is, and feeling that deeper connection to the ongoing self, the ongoing part of everything. And also those elements of contentment, santosha, that we feel after our practice. Worked hard, just allowing yourself to feel grateful for what your body's done. That can be hard sometimes. And if you have your legs elevated and would like to come to laying down for a moment, just do that gradually. Start to bring a small amount of movement to fingers, toes, wrists, ankles. Don't rush, and if you want to stay there a bit longer, you don't have to move, you can just stay there for a bit, it's fine. But if you do feel ready to sit up, make your way to one side and around to sitting. Just let yourself orientate to being upright. Give the shoulders a roll, maybe ease head side to side. And we'll take a breath in, reaching up. Big sigh. Namaste everyone, well done.